Chemicals moving down the...
Yeah, okay. So, Netivot Shalom, Parashat Mishpatim. Where is the right one? Oh. Ayman de Bailema Vechasida, Lekayem Mile de Nezakim. Right, so this is the part that we're going to learn. So it says in the Gemara, in Baba Kama, I think, Rav Yehuda, Ayman de Bailema Vechasida. So Rav Yehuda asked, like the Gemara is asking, what somebody that wants to be a Chassid should do. So Rav Yehuda said, "Lekei miled de nezakim," like to fulfill anything, the laws of damages of nezakim. Rabba says, "Miled de avot," like the words of the avot, right? The Masechet Avot, right? Our fathers that gave us a beautiful Masechta with the way of life. The Amri Leil, some said, "Miled de brachot," right? To fulfill the mitzvot of the brachot of blessing. וצריך ביור, we need to explain. Okay. דבישלמה מילי דאבות ומילי דברכות, מובן השייכות שלהם, right? So we understand that what our father gave in Masechet Avot, good advice for good life, and the brachot, the blessing, we understand how is it relate to somebody that wants to be a chassid, right? Chassid is somebody that walked the extra mile, is mehader, is doing more than what is expected to do. But how is it related, the nezakim, damages, to chassidut? And what's the difference between miled and nezakim, the words or the laws of the nezakim and damages, from the other laws of mamonot, of anything to do with monetary, which is chiyuv, it's obligated from the Torah. But derech avodah, right? So we're learning Netivot Shalom, so it's derech avodah, it's derech of chassidut, how we can serve Hashem better. He said it's hinted, merumaz beze al pi mandaita, right? There are arba avot nezikim, right? The famous Mishnah. Nezikin ashor, abor, amave, va'aver, right? So the shore, like the ox, something that is damaging, and then a pit, a hole in the ground, something that is just, caught on fire, and there's something that is causing fire, right? These four things are mechuvanim keneged arba chelkei yetzirah. It's like aimed to the four parts of the evil inclination, which in a person, the shore, the ox, is hint for gava, geut, proud, right? As our sage said, that who is the pride one in the animal? It's the shore, the behemoth. The bore, the pit, right? The hole in the ground. It's like falling into desperation, chas v'chalila. When somebody thinks that he's lost, he's doomed, he's depressed, etc., and that brings him to the rest of the sins. Amav'eh, right? Something that is consuming, which is the tooth, which is the desire of eating. V'av'eh, the one that causes fire, is the hint for the desire of the evil inclination that is burning like fire, right? So these arba nezikim, it's hint for the four parts of the evil inclination. And somebody that wants to be a chassid, he needs to fulfill these nezikim, arba nezikim, needs to keep the law and to uproot these four roots of the evil inclination that are in the person. Gaiva, desires, right? Desire for food, desire for women. Okay. When we say furthermore, an explanation, who wants to be a chassid? Right? Chassid, it's chesed, that is doing charity, doing kindness with other ones. And this is the action, right? So chesed is the action, the chassid is the man of chesed, which means his being, his essence, is only good and chesed. And because of that, he's been withdrawn to do action of chesed. And anyone wants to be, right? And it says, who wants to be a chassid? It doesn't say who wants to keep mitzvot, right? U'ma'asim tovim, and good deeds. But they ask who wants to be a chassid, right? Because his essence and his being is good. That's the root of him, is good. And because of that, is fulfilling v'asita yashar v'tov b'nei Hashem, that you did the right in the eyes of Hashem. And the way in that, derech b'zeh, as our Maharal says, in the Derech HaChaim. בעניין השלמות כולל שלושה חלקים, right? So said to be perfect, we have three parts. שלם בינו לבין בורו, right? To be completed between us and Hashem. שלום בינו לבין חבריו, and complete, right? שלם בינו, between him and his friends, right? בין אדם לחברו, בין אדם למקום. And the third one, שלם בינו לבין עצמו, to be complete with yourself. These are three parts that bring you to perfection. Because somebody that hates himself, love Hashem, how can he love others or love others? He don't love Hashem. It's something here. It's messed up. But if he have peace between him, Hashem, his friend, and himself, that's perfection. And this is three the deot, right? That brought here leha iman debay lemavi chasid. Who wants to be a chasid? Actually, they're asking like, who wants to turn his essence to good? Lafoch ma'uto letov ba'etzem in the root. And Rabbi Yehuda said, okay, what's the advice? How can you do? You have to fulfill the law of nezikim. And because this is a part that will be a perfect between him and his friends. Right? Because they talk here, Shelo Ayrikan Achre Shizik, right? That, yeah, fine, he did the damage and now he's going to pay his friend and he's going to appease him. But that's after the fact. Why even want to get that? That's the din, that's the law. But the Milech Hasidut, that he will be careful that lechatchila, no damage will cause by him. And that's to be a Hasid. A righteous is doing what he's supposed to do. If he causing damage, he needs to pay, right, compensation. A Hasid is somebody that doesn't get even into damages. That's a Hasid. And he said, and he also mentioned in that Gemara over there, that Hasidim Arishonim, the Hasidim were matzni'im, kotzotehem v'schuchotehem, like broken glasses and thorns and whatever. They used to bury them into their field, 3 tfachim deep in the ground. Why? Because they don't want to have any situation that somebody will walk over there and will get damaged, will get a cut from the broken glass, etc. So they bury it. Because they want to prevent, right? It's preventative, what they're doing. It's not that they're taking responsibility if something will happen and then they will pay. They're preventing so it will not happen. And then they were like glorified them in the zeirut v'ashmira and the protection and everything that they did lechatchila, that they don't want to cause any damage and any upset any person. And this is again, I might debay lemay v'chasida, who wants to be a chasid, to fulfill the word or the laws of the nezikim, that he should be careful not to damage his friends' things. And kol sheken, and of course in his body, and also in speaking, lashon hara, etc., because that can cause damage, right? If somebody speak about somebody else, it's causing damage. And this is a chelek hashlemut shel shalem im chaverav, that is perfect, is have peace between him and his friend. And now, what is mili the avot? U'inyan hashlemot beno leben atzmo. This is between himself, that he is at peace, right, or is in peace within himself. Because the Masechet Avot, it's kula adracha ladam, it's guiding a person in his midot and how he can be perfect with himself, right? Not only what he will not going to bother or disturb others, but how he can fix his own midot in order to achieve a situation of perfection that he will not do anything. For example, as I said, the kina, tava, v'akavod, right? The jealousy, desire, and honor, right? The gaiva, taking the person from this world, even if it's not touching anyone, and it's only because himself. Because if I have pride in myself and I'm thinking down on you, you don't know what I'm thinking. I can smile in you, say, "Oh, you're tzaddik," but inside I can say, "Nah, nobody knows, only me." And that's very rotten, right? Because that's between me and myself, and that taking us from the spiritual world, because only Hashem knows what goes in the heart of a person. So as long as a person is not really living his life according to what our sages says in Masechet Avot, he's still mekulkal, he's broken, he's midot. Whether if it is jealousy, desire, honor, or anger, sadness, depression, right, laziness, etc., that cause him not to be in peace with himself. As I said, Mamar Admor Bal Bet Avraham, Pasuk, Devrei Rivot B'Sha'arecha, Ainu B'Sha'arecha, in your gates, right, in your inner gates. Yeshnam Divrei Rivot, there is dispute, right? Sometimes we're talking to ourselves and we're disputing ourselves and blah, 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 right, etc. And it says, Asechel shebamuach, the brain in the brain, right, the sechel, the wisdom in the brain, he understands this, and the desire of the heart understand the other thing, and then the body is drawn to do something which is behemi, right? And it says in Tehillim, En shalom ba'atzmi, there is no peace within me, which means he is lacking. in his guts. Because when a Jew is not as he's supposed to be, then he's always lacking. And he's never happy with his life, and his life actually are not life. Because the part of the soul which is connected to Hashem directly, there is one part that says, Chelek Eloka Mimal, is always causing him consciousness. The consciousness is always bothering him. Always bothering him, right? Like his conscience is always making him suffer because he's not perfect. And now, mili de brachot, right? The laws of the brachot, which is inyan hashlemut, the perfect between him and Hashem. And that inner meaning of the brachot, it means that all the pleasure that he enjoy, he should always pay attention that, oh, LaHashem eretz umlo, Hashem created it, Hashem make it, I'm enjoying it because Hashem wants me to enjoy. Always is together with Hashem. And that pleasure is coming from Hashem, and He's giving us in His kindness to enjoy it. And then we obligated to thank Him. This is the brachot, to bless Him for this pleasure. And by doing that, He's fixing the food that He eats, right? We learned that we have maybe souls that reincarnate in the food, and when we say thank you to Hashem, we're actually fixing it, right? So all of these things that we eat, we do, right? We elevate them to a higher level. And another way we need to say, another way about who wants to be a chassid, according to what it says in the Braita, the Rabbi Pinchas Beyair. So he said that after the level of Kedusha v'Tahara, right, that he said that the level of Kedusha to be holy and pure, he actually counting the level of chassid that brings to Ruach HaKodesh, and Ruach HaKodesh mavia l'tchiach mitim. So somebody is a chassid, he's get the Ruach HaKodesh, he see the world, really, and then that can bring him to revive the dead, because the chassidut is the highest level, more than a tzaddik, because tzaddik is do what he's supposed to do, successful. He is successful, but he's not exceptional or excellent. He's just successful, he's good, he's doing what he's supposed to do. But chassid is lefanim mishurat hadin, because he's makpid not only what the halacha is obligating him, he's doing even more than that. Not in a stupid way, but he's doing so Hashem will be happy from that. And all the inyanim agashmim, all the permissible thing, he's mitkadesh, he's sanctified them and he's elevating them, right? So we learn, I'll try to jump here very quickly, that he is actually mekadesh the dvarim hamutarim, things that are permissible. We're allowed to eat something, but not half a ton of it. We're allowed to drink, but not 2 gallons of alcohol, right? So everything that he is allowed to, in moderate. And all of this physical thing, he's bringing it up to Hashem. And according to that, it will be explained what it says in Torah Avot, the Parashat, in our Parashat Mishpatim, on the Pasuk, right? So it says, Ve'im amor yomar ha'eved, right? If the slave will say, I love my master, I love the wife that my master gave me, I love my sons. So the slave, right, is the truthfully a slave that is serving Hashem. So now, yeah, we're speaking literally in the Torah about a slave that preferred to stay with his master, and then we make a hole in his ear. But here we're talking about somebody that serving Hashem, and he says, I love Hashem. I love my son, I love my wife, right? But I love Hashem. So then he will be cleaving to Hashem. He is his master. And then what does it mean that v'ratza adonav et ozno b'martzeh, like making a hole, right? That's for the servant that prefer to be with flesh and blood. But somebody said that I love Hashem. Then Hashem open his ears, not making a hole, is opening his ear to hear Hashem and to be able to serve him perfectly. And he have the merit for that in all the matter of the thing, and he's elevating it. So we can learn the Parashat of Mishpatim about a servant or about a slave that prefer to stay with a human being. But here we take it to a different level and said if somebody wants to be a chassid, he actually need to love Hashem and love his friend and love himself. And that will bring him to perfection. Thank you very much. Koyach, and it's exactly 7:30. We're on time, Benny.
Beautiful.
Shalom. Thank you.